Botanicals are used in aquariums to create the tea-stained look of black water, soften the water and lower pH, or to feed shrimp and other invertebrates. As far as I can tell, the term botanicals can refer to any kind of dried plant material, although small, detailed leaves, twigs, or pods are often preferred for their texture and sort of decorative effect. Today I want to show you how I collect and use botanicals from my local area here in the Pacific Northwest. You can buy botanicals at your local fish store, and that's what I've got here, but then I also wanted to show you the botanicals that I collected myself. So here I've got some small oak leaves, I've got some leaves and pods from just a tree that I thought looked kind of cool, and then here I've got some seed pods from a different type of tree. And I don't know what types of trees these are from, but I think that's okay because they're dried out. So you can also get botanicals for free with a little bit of time and a little bit of knowledge about the trees in your local area. I was walking by this tree and I saw that it was an oak tree, and I saw the tiny little leaves that it has. These are like the smallest oak leaves I've ever seen in my life, which is great because oak leaves, the normal sized ones, which are like sort of this size or a little bit bigger, are really big for like a 10-gallon shrimp tank. So this would be, the reason I'm doing this now in late December is it would be really bad for this tree if these leaves were still green and you were trying to pick them off. You could probably kill the tree that way, especially if you took a lot of them. So you want to wait until the leaves are already dead, because the tree was going to drop them anyway, and they're not doing anything for the tree when they're totally brown like this. You probably want to get them from places that are higher than where dogs can pee on, but I think it doesn't make that. I'm not that worried. Dogs pee on everything. It's part of the ecosystem. You can see we're along a driveway, but we're away from the road. So a lot of people say you don't want to collect botanicals from near the road because you'll have exhaust fumes and pollutants accumulating on the stuff that's close to the road. This is fine because it's just a driveway and they don't really use it very much. I'm just gonna grab a few. She was confused as to why I was collecting dead things off of dead trees. And I said, well, it's for my shrimp, of course. And she was like, right. So I've been trying to explain that the shrimp hobby is a thing, and I'm not the only one who collects dead leaves for my shrimp. But they're all kind of skeptical. I think these are lilac pods. Yeah, those are kind of cute. Look at that.
Yeah. Look like mini beans.
Yeah. I like, with these pods, I like to get a little bit of the stem so that you don't just have like really small bits. Just that is a bit, you'd have to collect a lot and that would be tedious. So it's nice, I think it looks better too in the tank if you have like a little sort of branch of them. With some that are kind of clustered together like that. I don't know what these are, but I like them. So with this one, these seed pods aren't snapping off super easily. It's kind of hanging on the tree. Like when I go like this seed pod doesn't come off. So I don't want to just pull them off the tree, just because I think it's fine, like it's a dead pod, but I could cause damage to the tree if I like rip it off. These are actually coming off pretty easy if you just pull them back. You just don't want to pull them back and then pull if they're not coming away easily, because then you'll take bark off the tree and that's bad for the tree. Right after I finished collecting, I dried the botanicals by placing them on paper towel on baking trays to spread them out in a single layer, and then I left them in a cool, dry room for about 3 days. If I did this again, I would actually dry out the larger seed pods in a dehydrator or at a low temperature in the oven, because a small number of these pods did have a little bit of mold on them after a few months in storage. Most of the leaves and the seed pods were completely fine, though, with just the 3 days in a cold, sort of dry place. To store the dried botanicals, I just put them in small Ziploc sandwich bags and then put them in a box in my cupboard, and they've been there for 5 months now. I recently used some of these in a new 6-gallon shrimp tank to provide a food source for the shrimp and to help soften the water. Before adding them to the tank, I poured boiling water over them to help them sink to the bottom of the tank, and to pull out some of the tannins because I don't want a black water look in this particular tank. I left them in the water to cool down, and then they were ready to go in the aquarium. I'm standing here in front of one of my mixed Caridina shrimp tanks, and I just wanted to show you adding a couple of my DIY botanicals to the shrimp tank as a good snack for the shrimp, and to help their water quality. So I have my bowl of botanicals, which I've boiled right here, and you can see some of the tannins have come off, which is fine, and more should be released once we add them to the tank. So I've got an assortment of oak leaves, some little seed pods, and some twigs that I want to add in. Alright, so I don't know if these will sink. They might be too floaty still. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. That actually looks pretty big in there. I definitely want... I think these seed pods are still floating. Oh, yep. So they are a little bit harder to sink because they're bigger. They have air trapped in them. And then here's one of these cute little seed pods. It does still have seeds in it, so when I collected them, the seed pods were full of seeds, and I haven't taken them out. They're still in there, and I think that should be just fine. But I'll let you know if for some reason it's not. I'll try doing one more seed pod here. These are really cute. But I don't think, yeah, no, they're not gonna sink quite yet because they've got all this space in them. But they'll sink eventually, so I think that should be lots for now. There's not very many shrimp in here. This tank is just a 6-gallon rimless tank. Sorry, I got it used, so it's got lots of scratches on the glass, but hopefully you can still see. Yeah, so I've got my mixed Caridina shrimp in here. I've just put them in here earlier today, and I'm just using this tank as sort of a backup colony. My main Caridina colonies are all in other tanks, but I wanted to have a backup. Some of them are quite nice, like this is quite a nice crystal black shrimp. He's just tasting the oak leaf there. Here's the tank a few days later. The shrimp don't necessarily seem to prefer the botanicals to other surfaces in the tank, but I think this may change as the leaves soften, break down, and develop a bacterial layer on the surface. I haven't seen any signs of toxicity or problems in the tank since adding them, and the blackworms in the substrate seem to think they're an appealing food source. I'd highly recommend adding botanicals to any soft water aquariums. They're a great way to create a natural-looking tank and contribute to a healthy aquatic ecosystem.